Hey everybody, what is going on? Hexlex here with another Master Duel video for you guys. Today we're going to be taking a look at some gameplay for the Synchro Festival with the deck that I am using here, which is a modified version of my Adamancipator deck that I showed in yesterday's video when we also discussed the loner decks as well. Now, I talked a little bit about this deck in that video, but it was mostly theory talk, as at the time I'm recording this, I've actually now played quite a few games for the Synchro Festival now, and so now I can speak from more of like an experienced position with this build. It is the exact same build in the main deck that I showed off again in the last video. And down here in the extra deck, you'll notice I'm actually only playing 14 cards because you might remember I said it was optimal to play a Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon, but I still wasn't quite sure if I was willing to commit to crafting one. And well, as always, I like to hoard my ultra rare gems for any future decks I may want to build. So no, I did not craft the Crystal Wing. I didn't even really bother. I mean, I actually looked for another generic level 8 or even 10 Synchro that I may have already owned to slot in, but I honestly really didn't see anything that I wanted to put in, so I didn't put anything in. I didn't really think I need it, to be honest, not just for the event. And I do have to be super honest with you guys, I'm not quite as excited about the Synchro event in general as I am about as I was for the Xyz and the normal and rare events. Honestly, because I haven't really invested in too many Synchro decks in Master Duel so far, aside from, Adamancipator here. And I think it might also just be like a communal thing that's getting to me too, right? Like in general, people don't really seem jazzed about the Synchro Festival, again, because Synchro decks in this format in particular, and I think really in just the state of the game right now, honestly, are just more like of a niche kind of a thing, right? Where, the people who already, had Synchron and Speedroid and heavily Synchro-based decks were probably really excited for this event, but everybody else, it's like, oh, if you own Adamancipator or Virtual World, we'll just modify that a little bit, I guess. Or it's like, oh, maybe I'll just use like a stun deck like True King or something, which it's funny, despite getting 2 limits, that deck is still actually really good in this format. Or then you have people who are like, oh, I'll just use one of the loner decks, which again are actually pretty decent this time around, although, again, as we discussed at length in the last video, are notably lacking hand traps, which I do believe is going to be kind of the name of the game this format, are going to be these hand traps, honestly. And that's, I hypothesized that, and it's pretty much been my experience as well. Having these hand traps has made a lot of difference against a lot of these decks, and similarly, opponents playing against me have had a lot of success using hand traps against me as well, because the thing that's kind of inherent about Synchro decks is that they tend to be a bit board spammy, right? Because obviously in order to summon a Synchro monster, you need to summon a tuner and a non-tuner, and then the Synchro, and well, if you're talking Max C, you've probably got a couple specials in there. One was probably a deck, or one was probably, from deck where you got to search, there's Ash. I mean, tuner, non-tuner, Synchro monster in and of itself, there's a Nibiru, 3, not Nibiru in of itself, but 3 summons for Nibiru right there, so. And honestly, there's also the fact that Synchrons in particular, which are one of the best, pure Synchro-based decks, are just in general really susceptible to hand traps, as they tend to really, combo off a whole lot. So, yeah, honestly, I don't know, it's just, this is a weird event, and it's funny because you wouldn't think it would be, right? It's like, oh, well, we had the Xyz Festival, so naturally we're going to have the other festivals for the other summoning methods as well, and those will probably go about the same. I mean, that's how it would seem on the surface, but then, again, how it actually plays out is that it ends up being a little bit different. So, yep, I'm going to go through the list real quick, card by card. I've got a few replays to show you. I'm honestly, again, I gotta be upfront with you guys, because again, this is not a festival that I'm super excited about. I'm not sure that I'm necessarily gonna make more videos about this festival right now. I know I said I was maybe gonna try the loner decks, but I actually did a game with each, and then I realized how woefully understudied I was to play both Synchrons and Speedroids. And it's like, well, I could take the time to do the research and watch some combo guides or something, but then I was like, okay, well, if I don't play those, what other decks am I gonna play, right? Is it gonna be, I don't really have another Synchro-based deck I really want to craft. I mean, I could in theory, but I'm not, trying to dump all my gems into making a deck for this event. and I don't think watching me build something like True King for the event is particularly interesting. So, you know, like I said, I've got some replays with this Adamancipator deck, and if I have some more quality games that are worth showing off, I might go ahead and show off some more games with Adamancipator, because obviously I'm not done climbing, I haven't completed all the missions or anything, but I just want to be a little bit upfront that you are definitely going to be seeing less videos for this festival than for previous ones. So, okay, let's go through the list here. We've got Weeping Idol, 3 Max C, 2 Doki Doki, 3 Adamancipator Seeker, 3 Adamancipator Researcher, 3 Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, 1 Gigantes, 3 Quackimir Guardian, 3 Adamancipator Analyzer, 3 Adamancipator Crystal Dragite, 3 Quackimir Supplier, 3 Black Dragon, 2 Nibiru the Primal Being, 1 Harpy's Feather Duster, 1 Lightning Storm, 2 Called by the Grave, and 3 Infinite Permanents. Down here in the extra deck, we've got a Herald of the Arc Light, a Stardust Charge Warrior, a Coral Dragon, a White Aura Dolphin, 1 Adamancipator Risen Leonite, 2 Adamancipator Risen Raptite, 1 Dark End Dragon, 1 Colossal Fighter, 1 Crimson Blader, 1 Stardust Spark Dragon, 1 Hot Red Dragon Archfiend, 1 Adamancipator Risen Dragite, and then finally Baron de Fleur, who is, you know, definitely, and to almost nobody's surprise, the star of this deck and honestly the format, I think. Well, not quite the whole format, but, you know, definitely this deck. Alright, let's go ahead and take a look at some of the replays we've got here. If we just hop over here to the replay section. Yeah, so you're gonna see this in a future video down the road too, but I'm actually not currently on like my regular PC build right now. This is gonna be a temporary thing, so that's why this video hasn't been edited, and that's why it's running a bit slower than normal. But again, that's gonna be remedied very soon. You'll only see that again in this one video, and then one that's gonna be like in a week, I think. But okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at this first game here. So you see, I did try to save quite a few that were like at least decent back and forths, right? Because honestly, and I mean this is the case with like regular Adamancipator on Ranked Ladder as well, the thing about Adamancipator is that people don't like sitting through long combos. Even in a festival like this where you're incentivized to, wow, really? Is this like a this is like when what do you call it, the people alt F4, but this is a replay. Yikes. Yeah, like I said, this is definitely going to be a temporary thing. Wow, I'm glad I don't regularly. Okay, there we go. Jesus. Yeah, like I said, I'm definitely not going to be on this PC long term, so the replay will start any year now, I promise. So, anyway, like I was saying, Jesus, now I totally forgot what I was saying, to be honest. Oh yeah, no, honestly, it's hard to get good matches with this deck, especially like trying to do it live, but even with replays here, because really the problem is that, like, again, people just don't like sitting through long combos, even in a Synchro Festival like this, where you're incentivized to you know, stick around to get at least some amount of, you know, tokens in order to, you know, get your rewards that you want. But I think people were finding that, because I actually didn't read the blurb, but I assume it's the same as last festival, right? You get 50 for losing and 500 for winning. I mean, especially with the amount of time that a lot of synchro-based decks, not even just Adamancipator, but synchro-based decks in general, with the amount of time that they tend to take in order to do their plays, like, I honestly think conceding is probably more economical than just taking the L and getting 50 medals, you know, especially when the rewards are 500 to 1,000 apart. There's really no point to losing and getting 50 medals. So. But again, I'm just going off of what I think the last festival was. I don't actually know. I didn't read the little blurb. So, but even if it was like 100, I guess that'd be a bit more debatable. But in any case, yeah, so like I said, good games are a little bit few and far between with Adamancipators, but I did, again, capture at least a couple here that should be decent to watch. So we're playing against a Shiranui, which I didn't even really think about, but, like, you know, most of these cards come from, like, the Shiranui starter deck, so this probably wouldn't actually be too bad of a deck to build. I suppose maybe I could try it out, but yeah, I went ahead and set up multiple Quackimir Guardians with this board because I wanted to get multiple Negates out, because I really couldn't keep comboing, but alas, my opponent had a Raigeki. Fortunately for me, they're really only able to go into this one Samurai Saga. Well, that name was not at all what I thought it was going to be for some reason. So my opponent's going to max E just at the start of the turn, which, by the way, I don't really think is honestly ever a good play. Like, even if your opponent isn't committing an effect to special summoning, even if they're just going for like a normal summon into like a link summon or something, it's usually preceded by something. Like, there's no need to max C into an empty board. It's a waste, especially because in situations like this where, like, I just played around it. You see, I even set my own max C because I was pretty confident my opponent wouldn't be able to get like a lot of plays, you know, with what little resources they had. So, yeah, with having that few resources especially, it's really wasteful to just throw out a max C like that. I wouldn't really ever recommend doing it, to be honest, but, okay, yep, we are, now that we are not under max C anymore, we're able to begin our combo off, and we even know our opponent's card in hand is, it's some Shirandori monster they search that. Or no, it's the Vampire. That does have a quick effect, but it's only giving monsters attack points, so it's, you know, it's not something that's going to stop us from comboing off. Which is definitely what we are going to do here. So we hit the Analyzer off the Raptite, and then we hit a Doki Doki, and it's like, okay, it's just over at this point, right? Like, honestly, we could even, like, just throw this in fast forward. Although I don't think the game actually ends on this turn, if I remember right. I think I probably had some amount of lethal here that I just kind of screwed up making. Oh, no, my opponent just conceded. Okay. Oh, that's right, because I made the Baron to Floor, and then I was like, that's right, I was trying to figure out lethal, and then that's when my opponent just conceded. So, again, it was pretty, you know, reasonably likely that I was just going to have lethal that turn. Okay, this next game here is going to be against Painkiller. Let's see here. Yeah, I don't know. I just, like I said, I don't really know what else to say about this format, because I'm not, like, again, I'm just not super jazzed about it. I'm really not. Which is kind of a bummer to me personally, because 5Ds as an anime and as an era of Yu-Gi-Oh! Is probably like the one I am most nostalgic for. I've been playing the game since 2004. Pharaoh's Servant had been the latest release. Well, Pharaoh's Servant was already out when I started playing, because I remember the next new set that came out was Labyrinth of Nightmare. But, you know, when I was playing in 5D's era or Synchro era, like 2009 and 10 especially, 2010 especially, oh man, I'm sure, you know, some of you other Yu-Gi boomers remember Quick Draw, Dandelion, that deck, that format, where, like, there were so many just good decks. You could just play, like, I don't know, there were just so many accessible tuners and generic synchros that you could play, like, almost anything and it would work. And it was so awesome. It was like my favorite era of Yu-Gi-Oh! So yeah, it's a bit of a bummer now to be in this era of Yu-Gi-Oh! Not to be in this era of Yu-Gi-Oh! I actually like this era of Yu-Gi-Oh! A lot more than I thought I was going to when I started playing Master Duel. I kind of went in with a typical Yu-Gi boomer mentality of like, well, Yu-Gi-Oh! Just seems ridiculous nowadays, so I'll try this, but I probably won't enjoy it. But then I was like, no, you know what? I actually really like modern. I stopped playing in 2016. This is close enough to what it was like back then. Still definitely a lot faster paced, but or not faster paced necessarily, but like noticeably higher power level from 2016, but not like ridiculously so. Oh yeah, this was funny. I just decided to negate this Pot of Desires here, because I was like, if my opponent's gonna Kaiju and then Pot of Desires, like, clearly they're desperate for an out, right? So I went ahead and did that. My opponent did have a follow-up Lightning Storm, but I guess they realized they weren't able to kill my Raptite, which I left in defense mode, which would then almost guaranteed get me another play next turn. I guess that's why they conceded, because their other two cards were dead, so. But yeah, like, you know, synchroing in this era is definitely not, it's not like synchroing was. It's not like the good old days trademark. You know, like, I can't believe I was unironically about to say that. I swore I'd never be the kind of person who would say that kind of a thing, but I don't know. It's I guess as long as you recognize it's coming from a place of nostalgia, you know. Okay, so we're actually going second this game, but we have an Imperm and a Lightning Storm, so I'm not particularly concerned with what my opponent's going to be able to do here. Until I see double tuning, and I'm like, whoa. If they activated two tunings, then surely this guy's going to be able to just go off, right? This person's going to be able to go off, right? And yeah, you know, they start playing all the Stardust stuff, but I guess this might just be somebody who picked up the loner deck and then didn't really realize how to play this deck. I mean, not that I'm like, okay, I'm not like harping on this person, because I, as I admitted earlier in this video, am definitely not well versed in Synchrons at all. Like I said, I tried them for one game, but like, I'm pretty sure if you open double tuning, you can definitely end on a better board than this, right? Like, you have to be able to. Well, anyway, I'm just going to go ahead and Lightning Storm my opponent's monsters, and then I'll start comboing off here myself. I'm going to summon Doki Doki and then special the Researcher. I want to special Researcher before activating Doki Doki, just in case my opponent has something like Gamma in hand. I mean, I'm pretty confident at this point they're just playing the Loner in deck, but they could be playing Synchrons, they could be playing something that negates and destroys like Gamma, so always better to special your Adamancipators from hand before you start activating effects on board. So, the Doki Doki's going to resolve, the Excavate's going to go through. I'm going to be able to synchro into Raptite and get another Excavate there. I've got a Block Dragon in hand. Like, things are looking very, very good for me. We do hit a Seeker. Always nice to hit a tuner off of the Raptite. I'm going to flip up with Seeker, and we get, we get our pick of the non-tuners here. And I feel like my opponent, like, probably, yeah, I was going to say concedes at that point, because I was looking at those Excavates, and I was like, wait, I don't remember what we did after that. So it probably wasn't anything, honestly. So... okay. These last two games rather are at least going to be longer than 2 turns each. So, but again, like I said, these are like the best back and forths I got out of the whole festival. It's like, and it's weird, right? It's weird that it's not feeling as, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just the format of Synchro only, if it's the timing. The timing was something that for me personally was a little bit weird, because I tend to like. I try to plan my video, or as these seasons are going on, right? I'm trying to plan my videos around when I expect maybe a potential announcement to come out about like an event or a ban list. So for the Synchro event to have been announced out of nowhere, which again, I was actually extremely lucky to have been ending my stream right as the event got announced on Master Duel. So, but yeah, it's just something weird. This festival, this event does not feel quite as good for some reason as the other ones. I don't know, maybe if you guys agree or disagree, let me know in the comments. But so this is another game where I'm not able to combo off due to not being able to excavate a tuner off of Raptite. However, we are able to get multiple Quacky Mirror Guardians, which is very, very good in a format like this. It's just about as good as having, a whole bunch of hand traps in hand, right? So our opponent is going to be playing, it's another Shiranui deck. They're kind of playing this Jacobulon, which I've never seen this card before, but I'm going to try to negate it with a Dragite, or not a Dragite, a Quacky Mirror Guardian. They do have the call by for it, but they're going to throw the Samurai's effect on the same chain, and I'm just going to go ahead and Quacky Mirror Guardian away the Samurai, because otherwise it's going to be able to battle over my Guardian, so... it's going to end up with just my opponent getting this Jacobulon. Again, weird card name on the board in defense mode, and then yeah, they're not really able to do anything else, because... this, summon zombies from grave by, like, banishing itself. Weird card. I mean, kind of cool, but, really cool art, but definitely a weird card. But yeah, my opponent definitely didn't think getting the Samurai was really worth that, and I don't fault them for that. So, I'm just going to start excavating off of Raptite. We hit a Seeker, so then I can start excavating with that. We still have an Analyzer in hand as well that we can summon and then excavate with that. So, I mean, we definitely have plays. There's no way we can't kill our opponent this turn. We're going to summon the Dragite off of the Excavate, which will then let us get a draw. We get a Weeping Idol for even further plays. Which this card is actually better than I gave it credit for. Because I don't know, I have a really bad habit, like a lot of people do. I really have a bad habit of misreading cards sometimes, and Weeping Idol is one of those cases. I thought you specialed this from your hand if you controlled a tuner, which is why for a while I thought this card was kind of mediocre, because it's like, well, it's an extender, but... it's kind of a niche one, but it's for banishing a tuner in grave. Like, that's definitely a different story, so... I never realized that before I went to activate Weeping Idol here, but... it's funny, people see Bear and then they just tend to concede, huh? Go figure. Alright, let's take a look at this last game here and see what we've got. I actually don't remember which one this is off the top of my head. I'm trying to think. Nope, I don't remember, so it'll be a surprise to you and me both. Okay, so we open with a fairly decent hand here. Ooh, we're going second in this game. Okay, that's it. Oh, I was about to say that's interesting until my opponent can pass without doing anything at all. Huh. Okay. I saw that this game was 4 turns, and I saved it thinking it'd be a good back and forth, but maybe that's not going to be the case here. But, okay. Oh, that's right. I remember, no, this game was, this is like, because I remember being like, okay, well, my opponent just didn't do anything, guess I just win. But then I whiff off of the secret, and it's like, okay, I guess I'm not doing anything either, so I guess I'll just set this impermanent pass. And then my opponent passes again. That's right. This is like the most baffling game of the event. I mean, yeah, of the event that I've played so far. I was going to say of the, like, Master Duel, but no, that's definitely not the case. So my opponent's going to flip a Max C here, flip a Chain of Max C here. I'm actually going to go ahead and Ash Blossom so that I can save my Quacking Root Guardian. I want to save Guardian because it's useful for a lot more negates than just, you know, so like things that Ash can negate. So it's better to use the more narrow negate than the more generic one. So yeah, we go ahead and toss the Ash Blossom there in order to negate that Max C. From here, we're going to excavate with our Researcher and our Seeker. I did debate whether or not I wanted to activate Doki Doki first, but I decided to go ahead and get the excavate first. Because I figured, yeah, if I hit, then I can summon something like I would with Doki Doki anyway. And then if I whiff, I can just go ahead and, yeah, go ahead and summon my, or use my Doki Doki's effect. So, that's right, because this is like the only game so far where I've gone to Herald of Arclight. That's the reason I think I wanted to keep this. Yeah, just, I mean, I wanted to get more spaces off the board, just to, you know, to free up more zones, and also just have another Omni Negate, just, you know, again, to be able to have it. Now, something I've had a bad habit of with this event, because generally speaking, I like to leave the, like, you know, link zones open for an actual link monster, even though you can, you know, put other extra deck monsters there. I keep forgetting to do that, and I keep putting my synchro monsters in the main zone, which keeps clogging them up. So, definitely not, like, quite the optimal plays I could be making here. With the other zones free, I'm sure I could be doing a lot more, but it's not really going to matter, because, I mean, as you can see, I can very easily get enough damage to wipe my opponent out regardless here. Even with the I was going to say the Wrap-Tight whiffing, and then I almost went to say the Wap-Tight. With the Wap-Tight whiffing, we still get the Gigantes on the board. We're able to drop a whole bunch of monsters and then smack our opponent for game. I even went for a little bit of overkill because I'm pretty sure there's a damage mission for this event. So I want to get as much of that in as possible because, not going to lie to you, I am not particularly looking forward to grinding that. If I even am going to grind it that much, I still haven't really decided, to be quite honest. So, yeah, that's really about all I've got to say about this deck for the time being, you know. Like I said, I'm not super jazzed about this event, and I'm sorry that if that's, you know, kind of making this video a bit of a downer. I mean, I'm not to say if you are excited about this event, you shouldn't be. No, like, I don't want to take away, I don't want to steal anybody's thunder. But like I said, I just personally am not much of a synchro player at this point in time, so I just really was not, you know, particularly excited to play this event. But I still might do another video. Like I said, if I happen to get some more good games with this Adamancipator deck, I'll definitely throw those up here as well. But yep, that is going to do it for today's video. Guys, thank you so much for watching. As always, I greatly appreciate it. I'm also appreciative if you're commenting and subscribing. That is awesome. But honestly, watching to the end like this is super awesome already. So really, that is far more than enough. Yeah, like I said, this loop, I always end up in this loop at the end of videos. So I'm just going to end it right now. This is XLex signing out. Hope you have a fantastic day.